Hey y'all, my name is Jatirin Moore, and on my YouTube channel, I am documenting my journey as a real estate wholesaler. In this video, I will be doing a breakdown. So, this is my sixth wholesale deal breakdown, y'all. Okay, if you have not seen my other wholesale deal breakdowns, you need to go back. Go back and watch deals 1 through 5. All of those breakdowns are on my YouTube channel. Y'all gonna get comfy. Get comfy now, because we gonna be here for a little minute, all right? I hope y'all got a little time. So to start this wholesale deal breakdown off, I started off by just making a random cold call. It was August 31st. It was 2023. Now, I'm going to refer to the property owner as Mr. G, okay? Mr. G is going to be the property owner, all right? So, as I say Mr. G, y'all just keep up with me because that's who I'm talking about. That's the person who sold his property to me, okay? Mr. G. So, I make this cold call on Thursday, August 31st. And he was basically ready. I went through the 4 pillars as my coach teaches me. If you don't know who my coach is, his name is Mr. Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Rhino, Mr. Wholesaling Inc., all of that. And yes, he is a beast, okay? Back to my story. I got all 4 pillars, and those 4 pillars are price, motivation, timeline, condition. And literally, when you hear a motivated seller, they'll typically give you all of those things within 5 minutes. Okay, now if you have a talker or somebody who just love to run their mouth, you might be on the phone a little while, but you're going to get all 4 pillars if they're really motivated and if they are really ready to go. I'm talking to Mr. G, and he tells me that his motivation is that he had sold his property initially, this property that he had on a land contract to some lady, right? And the lady stopped making her payments and she let the property go into foreclosure. Now, Mr. G, he's elderly, he's really wanting to get out of the business. He don't have time for folks playing games. So this lady was playing games with him, and she let her portion of her bargain just fail. Okay, and so they went through the entire foreclosure process, and he ended up with the property once again. After he sold it on the land contract, it foreclosed and he had to get it back into his possession. So at this point, I caught him at a time where he's like, I'm sick of it. And that he was. We're having a conversation. He's telling me how it had just finalized. They had just finalized the foreclosure process in March of 2023. And he kind of had just been holding on to the property, trying to sell it, not really knowing what he wanted to do. But when I called him, he's just like, I'm ready to go. And he's like, Jatirin, I actually have been in communication with a few other people, but I'm waiting on this one guy to give me a call back. And he told me that the guy had already called him and said he wanted to make an offer, but the guy had not called him back. He said he wasn't going to call him back until the following week with an offer. That's exactly what Mr. G told me. So, as a wholesaler, I'm taught that time kills all deals. So you know what I did. Being that he told me his motivation, I just let y'all know that. He told me that his price was somewhere around like $26,000, if I'm remembering. He wanted like $26,000 for it. And then he told me his timeline was right away, of course, and the condition of the property was poor. Heck, I got all 4 pillars. Time kills all deals. I took my butt right on the appointment. Yes, I did. So it was Thursday. Why do I want to say October so bad? It was not October. It was August. It was August 31st, Jatirin. That's when I made the cold call, and I set the appointment, y'all. You wouldn't even believe it. I had my tail out on the appointment on Labor Day. What holiday? What holiday? I don't care if it rains, sleet, or snow. I'm going out on the appointment. Do you hear me? So we were out on the appointment. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day all. We looking at properties today, okay? Now, when I tell y'all, I got out on this property and on this appointment, I'm talking to Mr. G and his wife, and we're having a great conversation. And then when I go into the house, y'all, if you know me, you know I'm scared. I have a total phobia. And Lord, I hope I am delivered from this. I don't know, at some point in my life, but I'm scared of spiders. And I tell you one thing, there was a spider in every nook and cranny in this house. every nook and cranny. I was toe up. I couldn't even focus on the conversation. I told Mr. G, I said, Mr. G, I'm sorry, I got to go back outside. And I wasn't even trying to be rude, and he understood. I told him I'm scared of spiders. I looked throughout the entire property or whatever, but I couldn't stay in there. I could not stand the sight of spiders. That's one thing I cannot do. So I looked at the property, and then I had to head back out. Exit that way. Here I come. The property was vacant. Nobody living there but the spiders. There was a weird layout though. The layout of this house, it was unique and weird at the same time. So let me try to get a visual. So it's a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, about 400 to 500 square feet. So it was really tiny, okay? And spider infested, if I didn't say that already. This bedroom, bathroom situation. The inside of the bedroom was the shower. So the shower was in the bedroom, and then there was like a little space on the side of the shower for a washer and dryer unit, and on the side of that was a closet. So where is the rest of the bathroom, you might ask, if the shower is only in there? Well, the rest of the bathroom was, you had to come out of the bedroom, go through the living room into the kitchen, okay? And right off of the kitchen was the bathroom, or I should say the rest of it. It was the kitchen. It was the toilet and the sink. So you had the shower in the bedroom, and then the toilet and the sink in a totally different part of the house. So that was the weird layout, all right? And I'm going to address this weird layout again when I get to the buyers coming out to the property shortly. Now, remember I told you guys, Mr. G told me that the other guy who was interested in purchasing the property had called him and told him he was going to call next week with an offer. And Mr. G told me that, he wants this property at $26,000, okay, 26 grand. So when I was on the appointment, of course, you're friendly, you're making sure you're keeping the property owner's needs at forefront and what they're wanting to do, and making sure you're listening and hearing them out. And I was making sure to do all of those things so that they know that I was there to help them and provide value to them. So that price, I knew it was probably not going to work for the amount of work the house needed. I ended up asking them how or would they feel comfortable with the price range between $19,000 and $22,000. He wanted 26, mind you. I think so the ARVs in that area for a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom really couldn't find one because there were no true comps. It was literally the only 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. But from what I saw, and based on what other investors were saying in the area, the after repair value, after it's all fixed up and beautiful, the property could probably sell anywhere from 80 to 90 grand on market. I knew I had to get this property low because of the amount of work it needed. So going back to this 19 grand to 22 grand price range, Mr. G ended up being receptive. He said yes. So he came down to the 22K mark, of course. So he's gonna take the highest one I offered. I locked it up at $22,000. I ended up getting the purchase agreement signed, and at this point now, you have to make sure, this is very important, especially for vacant properties. Now, for vacant properties, you don't really need to have the property owner there. Heck, you don't need to have the property owner there at all if they don't want to be. I usually try to emphasize that, and I try to put it in favor of them, just letting them know, hey, how can I gain access to the property? It's also in our agreement, that I need access for this specific amount of days. So how am I able to do that? And they'll explain. And so Mr. G let me know that I could come to his personal residence to pick up the additional key, the extra key that they had for the property I was getting ready to purchase. And so the day after our appointment, so that would have been September 5th, Tuesday, I went to his personal residence, got the key, put it in my lockbox, and I proceeded to start sending this property out to my buyers. Now, I done sent my property out to the buyers, right? And this time now I'm not picking and choosing who I'm going to send my the properties out to. I have a list and I send it out to all of them. Okay, so I've sent this property out to a whole lot of buyers, and I got a whole lot of not responding. Nobody was interested. I had a few trinklers, but the buyers were saying one of two things: the price was too high, or they did not like the layout. majority of the buyers were just saying, I don't know what I would do with this. And maybe an Airbnb, or maybe I can take the bathroom and put it here, or maybe I can make it into somebody even suggested a studio house type of situation. And so as I'm listening to these ideas, so y'all can take this tip as well. As I listen to what buyers think they could do, I just jot those things down. And then for my next walkthrough, I say that. I say, well, have you ever considered this? And have you ever considered the studio situation? Have you ever considered moving the bedroom here or moving the bathroom here? This is how you grow. This is how you learn, because I didn't know what I could do with it. I've never reconstructed, redesigned, or redid anything. But listening to the buyers who do these things every day, I listen to what they say and I pass it on to other investors. So even though I was trying to use those points as my selling points, it wasn't working, okay, because my price was too high. So I had this property locked up at $22,000 with Mr. G. I sent it out to my buyers at $32,000, which would have been what? A $10,000 assignment fee, correct? Correct, because you take the difference of $32,000 minus $22,000. That difference is what the wholesaler get, okay? But not exactly in this case. That ain't what happened, but that's what I hoped would happen, but it didn't happen. Nobody was interested in that price, so I had to lower my price. So remember I told you guys I got it locked up at $22,000. Well, I ended up lowering the price to $22,900. So now what is my assignment fee? $900. But my plan was, after I had interest at $22,900, I was going to go back to the seller and get a price reduction so that I can increase my assignment fee. That's how you do that. There go a trick for y'all as well. Buyers are coming out, and a big thing you want to listen to is, what will the buyers be doing with the property? So remember, I'm telling you guys, when you have walkthroughs, listen to what their plans are and ask them about their repair costs. Here we go. So I had buyers coming out to the property, right? I heard several different price ranges from the buyers that came out to the house. So somebody told me that they could fix up the property for 32 grand. So at this point, I'm like, man, this is going to need a whole lot of work. I personally didn't think $32,000 was necessary for a 500 square foot house, but hey, not especially in that neighborhood. But I was like, hey, you do you know this. Another investor that was interested told me that his budget might be $13,000. So I'm saying this to say this: $13,000 to $32,000 is a huge difference. Listen, don't try to calculate specific repair cost for your cash buyers, because they will be different. Everybody does things differently. Your buyers have different projects they like to do with your deals, whether that's fixing and flipping it, or renting it out, or turning it into some type of other investment strategy that they may be using. But your job is not to become a repair cost specialist. That huge difference told me, Jatirin, you have no business trying to figure out the exact cost. Figure out a estimate and move on. I ended up having to lower the price to $22,900, as I've already mentioned, and I still had no interest. In the interest I was getting, they were still saying that the layout was weird and the price was still a little too high. So I said, okay, here is where I think I may need to just tell Mr. G to go on with the next investor, because I didn't want to keep him waiting. And he actually told me that the other investor was offering him a land contract option. Now, Mr. G really wanted to cash out and be done with this house, but he said if he had to, he would go ahead and take the payments every month in order to be done with the property. So here is where I almost gave away $2,500. If you still here, thank you. Finish, because you don't want to miss the next part up until the end. Now, it's been good up until this part, but this part here, go ahead and get extra comfortable, because we about to get into how I almost gave away this money.